Hello and welcome back to our AutoCAD 2008 CAD clips. In this lesson, going to be very quick. We're just going to talk about the middle mouse button. I've asked you over here, you must have a mouse button with a middle roller button. And what I'm talking about here is if I take my mouse and I press on the wheel on the mouse and I hold it in, I get a pan option. Okay, so wherever I happen to be, if I'm over here and I press it, I can pan this way, then I let go. I can press it again over here and release. So as long as you press, release, you can pan. Okay. On top of that, if you wheel in and wheel out, you will zoom in and zoom out. Now it's important where your mouse is when you do this. If your mouse is over here and I wheel in or wheel out, things are going to go shooting off to the side. If I'm up over here and I wheel in and out, that will be the focal point of my zooming. Okay. If I put my mouse right in the middle, I'll zoom into the middle space. So when you're zoomed in, I'm going to wheel, wheel, wheel. If you're inside of here and you want to get closer to the table, if you wheel in over here, the table's going to go up to the left. Okay. If you wheel in over here, it'll go to there. So be aware of where your mouse is as you're panning. It'll become second nature to you. You can see I have my grid turned on. I'm just going to turn that off. So panning with the middle mouse button, wheeling in and wheeling out. So practice just kind of maneuvering around, and then when you get in and you're working on something really detailed, sometimes you just kind of crawl along with your pressing your wheel button in and then releasing it. Okay? Then you can wheel out. Okay, the factor at which you zoom is something called zoom factor. Okay, if you type in on your keyboard right now ZOOMFACTOR, zoom factor, and hit an enter on your keyboard, we can enter a value. That value has to be between 1 and 100. It's currently set to be 30, and that is not the default. The default is actually 60. I'm going to type in 60 on the keyboard and hit enter. Now when I wheel in and wheel out, I will notice that the increment is a little more drastic and jumpier with a zoom factor of 60. Okay, now I don't want to type in zoom factor again. If I just go to my keyboard right now and I use the up arrow on my keyboard, watch what it does. Up arrow, and I'm continuing to hit up arrow. It will cycle. Now I'm doing a down arrow. It will cycle through all the previous commands I've been doing. So I want to go until I see zoom factor. Okay, using my up and down arrow keys, I'm going to hit enter again, and this time I'm going to set my zoom factor to be maybe only 5, and then I hit enter. Now watch what happens. When I zoom, my zooming is going to be very fine. Okay, I'm going to use my arrow key, go back until I see zoom factor, hit enter. I'm going to make it 1. Okay, there's a great trick to play on your neighbor. So then, it has to be between 3 and 100. It's telling me, aha, thank you, the little warning, 3, enter. So a zoom factor of 3, pretty small. You got to wheel in, keep wheeling, and take you forever. So there's a little trick you play on your friend. Or you can do the opposite, using my arrow key again to go back to my zoom factor, hitting enter. Now I'm going to set it to be 100. Enter. Now what happens is when I zoom, it's going to be extremely drastic. Okay, so I like to set mine. I'm going to go back one more time using my arrow key on the keyboard. Zoom factor, I like it set to be about 30. I find that to be just about comfortable. So middle mouse wheel button, wheel in, wheel out. Use your zoom factor to set your zoom factor, and then press and hold the wheel button to pan yourself around. Okay, so that's our information on using the middle mouse wheel button.